Simon, changing times, and the times that are changing as to how football is getting broadcast. Of that, there is no doubt. And this is the perfect example of it. DAZN, in here now and very much on the scene. DAZN said to be bidding to show every EFL match live in the UK worldwide, which in return would see the Saturday 3 o'clock blackout being ditched. Now, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of it more, but basically it boils down to this. Over, say, the next 3 to 5 to 8 years, do we see the end of coverage as we're seeing it now, the coverage that's been enjoyed by Sky and BT Sport in terms of the coverage they have had?
No, I don't think so. And unless someone's going to come to the table with some real significant money, it's one thing talking about covering the Championship and superseding a deal for £119 million that Sky are paying, which they're not hugely motivated by in the first place, with a £200 million deal. It's another thing trying to cover the Premier League and pay £1.2 billion. That's a whole different ballgame. What it is obviously OTT and streaming is the way that broadcasting is going. It's a huge opportunity for a variety of people to do a variety of things.
Oh, yeah.
And with that in mind, the digital space is going to become more and more and more available for people to monetize properly. It's becoming mature and advertisers are becoming more conversant with it. DAZN obviously have a proposition with a guy behind it in Black Van Der Sar who's got lots and lots and lots and lots of money, and you can clearly see it because he's been throwing hundreds and hundreds of millions at the currently unsustainable boxing proposition they've got.
Yeah.
So with the football dynamic, it makes some sense. But does it mean there's another fox in the henhouse? Does it mean that
it looks that way?
I'm not sure it does.
Viaplay's another.
Viaplay's an interesting one. They've obviously taken over Premier League stuff, Premier League production stuff, and are starting to redistribute rights around the Nordic regions and also in North America, and they look like a proper player. But we've seen proper players come to the table before. We've seen ESPN come here before. We've seen Setanta come here before. And they've all come here and they've all scarpered off with not doing particularly good jobs. I'm not suggesting that Viaplay will be in that space, and I'm certainly not suggesting DAZN will be. But the bottom line is at this moment in time, this is the real thin end of the edge of the wedge. It's an £81 million deal additional to the Championship. I think it should be bigger. I think they should be more ambitious with these guys.
But this is just a start.
Well, maybe it is.
Yeah.
But, sometimes if you don't start off on the right foot, you don't end up on it, right? So go up the deal to 100 from 119 to 200. Some would say, well, hang on a second, that's a 60% increase. But that's because it's massively underpriced and sort of Sky go, here's the crumbs off the table for the Championship and we'll do you all a favour. Now, the bottom line is what it actually means is an extra 64, because the way it works is that so that people understand, the distribution in the EFL is 100% of money, 80% goes to the Championship, 12% goes to League One, 8% goes to League Two. So it's kind of like replicating the Premier League deal in a different guise. So this, even in the EFL, there is this unfair distribution model. So it means 64 million quid a year to the Championship, which means something in the region of about 2.5 million extra per football club. Take them up from £7 million a year from broadcasting deals to about 9.5, 10 million.
But let's say these new foxes in the hen house get somewhere, Simon.
Yeah.
That DAZN get somewhere, that Viaplay get there. Because after all, Sky Sports, the right holder since 2002.
Yep.
Nothing lasts forever. We know that.
Yep.
In terms of what it might lead to for the clubs, match day income. I mean, if we're seeing EFL games, games in the Championship at 3 p.m. kickoff, shown live, what does that mean in terms of match day income for those clubs?
Nothing, I don't think. I think live is live. I think people.
Will fans keep going?
I think so. I think there's obviously there's a £2.5 million increase in revenue, say to a Championship club. If the average ticket is £20, £2.5 million is 125,000 tickets. If you take that over the course of a season, that's probably about 7,000, 6,000 fans, 5,000 fans a game. You deplete your audience by 5,000 fans a game, and the average attendance in the Championship is 20,000. So you go from 20,000 to 15. Won't happen. The demand is there. The experience of being inside a stadium is there. What this is doing is opening up a digital marketplace and giving people an opportunity. So even if you lost 10% of your fan base, even if 10% suddenly wanted to sit at home and watch it digitally, you'd still be ahead economically.
Understood. So you'd still be ahead. But I think that's a very real proposition for the clubs, Stuart, that fans, especially travelling fans, away fans, will think, down the south coast today, no, I can watch it live at 3.
I think that's where the fans will be affected. If you sat there and you think, they'll go home. If I'm a fan, I would always want to go home. I go and watch rugby league for a 9-hour round trip. I'll always go, even if it's on television on a Thursday night or Friday night. I'll still make the journey. But if
It's a lifestyle, though, for fans, though, isn't it, as
Indeed.
well? People want to do this. Fans, the United Kingdom fans are something unique because no other country takes away fans the way that we travel and take our fans around the state. Because you go to Spain, away fans don't travel that way. You go to American MLS football, it doesn't travel that way. We do it as a unique part of our lifestyle. Like, we've got a pub culture in this country, we've got a football culture. And that culture is we want to be on the away days. We want to be with our mates. We want to go there. Now, of course, on a Wednesday evening in Barnsley, when it's pouring the rain and the 200 fans you take up there might become 150, I get you. But let's get the economics right.
So sum this up for me, Simon. In terms of it being a game changer, would it be one if DAZN gets its hands on EFL?
No, I think it would be a great opportunity. I think it's an opportunity for the EFL to start clawing some money into the league, to give them an opportunity, because they're getting paltry deals, they're getting crumbs off the table, and I think they need to be more ambitious. And here's the reason why they need to be more ambitious: because DAZN is not a VOD platform which is being successful at this moment in time. So the need is with them, and football brings an emotive audience which they can cross-fertilise into boxing. So I would be wanting more than 200 million. I would be wanting 300 million, and I'm sure Trevor and Rick do want that, and I'm sure they'll negotiate it. And then you start moving into a territory where you get that kind of dough, you open up that kind of opportunity, you leverage the Premier League to get some more money out of them because they're terrified of an independent regulator, and all of a sudden you've got a pyramid that's starting to hold itself together again, which is great for English football.
I'll put it out there, actually. DAZN bidding to show every EFL match live in the UK and worldwide. If they get it, if that was to happen and you can see your match live at 3 o'clock, your team is playing assuredly at 3 o'clock live on your telly. Obviously, you have to subscribe. Would it put you off travelling some distance to go and see your team?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.